Second week of the season, and we are live in the Commonwealth, Lexington, Kentucky. That football stadium right behind us, and the Cat fans are fired up because they've got a couple of big weekends in a row. Next week, the Dogs come to town. This week, the Gamecocks. Good afternoon. We're in here for the next 4 hours. We always try to begin with two people that need no introduction. So Roman Harper and Tim Tebow, who knows a little bit about playing in that stadium behind us.
Oh, that's awesome. I love coming here. Fans are always excited. We usually always get a great game. I think they'll be riled up. It's nice that both teams are 1-0 as well.
The fans are very excited about this team. They really believe in this team. They like the defense. They like where they're at offensively. So the fans are telling me, because I'm just a mirror of what I hear, all right? I don't have a dog in this fight, but Kentucky's very excited about the opportunities the next 2 weeks.
I think it would have been really good, though, if they could have had a whole game last week, right? Especially for all the new guys that transition, Brock to get more experience. I actually think we laugh about it, but it's so important. Just getting used to one another, getting the timing down. He made some really good plays, but you could also see there's some where he's trying to figure out the receivers, first time actually going against a different jersey.
No doubt.
And they're trying to figure each other out. And I actually think that really hurts them for tomorrow afternoon.
It does. It definitely slows down the process. You got a new offensive coordinator. They got a lot of different pieces coming into the offense. Like you said, the new quarterback. Trying to get everybody on the same page. You need real live game reps.
Yes.
And also a little bit of anticipation or a little bit of anxiety to kind of go into it, to see how you react in these real live game situations where the quarterback can get hit. The offensive line has to protect.
Different.
It's just different.
In a game, it's just different. And I wish for Kentucky and for Brock and for this offense that they would have had more reps to get ready to go.
We're talking. Didn't you once throw 7 touchdowns in the stadium?
I don't know.
Seemed like that. Is that right? You would correct me if I was wrong, wouldn't you?
I don't know.
So much to talk about. This obviously the biggest game of the day. We haven't had a chance to really reflect back with you about last weekend in Gainesville. You live in that state. You've been in Gainesville since we were there last. Give us a status report.
Yeah,
I don't know about a progress report.
I think it was really hard. I think it was something that Gator Nation was very excited leading into it. There was a lot of build, a lot of momentum, and it got taken away pretty quickly. I think it got taken away because they were losing at the line of scrimmage. I thought they lost at the skill position. I thought they lost in scheme. And I think there's some areas that just didn't execute, but there's also some areas where I thought they got out-athleted, out-toughness. There were some things that you really wanted to see them step up with fight, and I'm really hoping that they bounce back week 2, and more importantly in week 3 when A&M comes to town, and hoping that we see even more fight from them.
So Paul, look, I had them losing last week, so they are exactly where I thought they would be.
You didn't have them losing like that, though.
Look, how you lose can determine a couple plays where you get blown out or you keep it close. I'm not going to really harp on that as much as the one thing that I know you can improve on. I don't know if you're going to be able to change schemes. You're not going to be able to change players. You can change your effort. The effort was not what it needed to be. You can't have guys lackluster effort.
How do you have that type of effort, though, in the first game of the season?
It was almost, we had effort early, and then all of a sudden, that guy's going to make it. You're just waiting on that guy to make it. Okay. Instead of saying, no, we all got to go over there. Stop waiting on somebody else to make a play. You got to do what you got to do to control what you can.
And I think you also got to give Miami a lot of credit. They played well. Cam Ward took over. Their receivers dominated. Their offensive line was so much more efficient and effective than Florida's was. They also played more as a team. Florida played okay in spurts, but as a team, as a unit, offense, defense, special teams, too many mistakes.
Yep.
You can't hit the quarterback on third down after he's released it. That could have changed the game. And now all of a sudden, there was nobody that could stop this downhill trajectory, this momentum that was building against them. And you wanted someone to step up and make a play and turn the tide, and no one really did.
We'll move on from that because we will be there next week. So there will be no shortage of Gator conversation in Gainesville a week from this moment. Hopefully,
it's not like Texas A&M blew anybody out of the water. I mean, Florida, pep up. You're all right.
I want to get. Everyone came away from the game in Atlanta really fired up about the Dogs. We knew they would be good. Roman, what intrigues you the most about that game?
So hats off to Georgia. They won the game. But I also came away with a little bit of questions. And it's just that early in the game offensively, I don't want you to tell me all offseason you got the best quarterback in college football, and then all we're going to run are quick screens, quick now routes, all that other stuff. Let the guy rip. If he's going to be a number one quarterback, then let him show it on first down early in the game. I don't need you always trying to figure it out, wait until the second half to explode. Clemson was never a threat to Georgia. So you're not going to face every team on your schedule that's not a real threat to you early. So I want you to be able to show me early and often in games what you truly are, Georgia. And it's not my fault that you will only be compared to Georgia and all the other greats. You're not going to be compared to what you do versus Clemson. I only look at Georgia in the lens of where they're at in the playoffs, how they project down the field versus great teams.
He's one tough critic.
Yeah, he really is. I think Clemson has a really good defense, though, too. I think I give them some credit. That is a very physical front seven, and it's a team that played a lot of pressure and played very physical, and it's also week one. Georgia's trying to figure it out. I thought when you go back and you look at the film, I thought Carson played very well, and they're trying to figure out some new receivers, new running backs, top two down. Frazier stepped up, Humphreys. There's some new guys he's figuring out, and you could see. But one of the signs is a good team is not how you start, it's how you finish. The second half adjustments, the leadership, and because let's be honest, first half their offense wasn't clicking. Second half they dominated, and that's a sign of a great team. It's one thing to start fast with a great game plan and a lot of momentum. It's another thing to adjust when you didn't play your best, and that's what they did. So it's very impressive to me, especially the way they finished.
Let's look ahead because tomorrow's a big opportunity for a lot of schools.
Their wide receivers had the advantage the whole game. Like, I'm not going to just accept, the great second half. That was great. But, man, I want to see that early because that's who you are. Like, don't look at me like I'm hating as much as it's like, no, I'm just telling you who you are. Be that person all the time.
Tim, let me talk to you about the biggest game.
Know your identity.
That's it.
The biggest game of the day tomorrow, that's, of course, Texas at Michigan. Give us your thoughts.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see Texas go to the Big House. I love watching as a fan of the game. I love these non-conference games, even though the SEC desperately needs to step up and win some of them. But Texas has an opportunity, and so does Arkansas, by the way, against Oklahoma State. I'm excited about both those games, but so excited about Quinn Ewers. I think he's got an opportunity to be one of the best players in the country. I think he's got a chance for the Heisman. I think Texas has an opportunity for the college football playoff again, just like last year. I'm excited about this team. I still think they got to figure out a few things in connection with Quinn and these receivers. Last week was very impressive, but you could see some plays where they're figuring out where are you going to be at, when are you going to break. We got to be on the same page. But this Texas team has a lot of pieces, man. Yeah, they're physical on offense and defensive line. They got some explosive playmakers in the backfield and at receiver. They can run. They're big. They're fast. They're physical. You got an experienced quarterback. If they put it all together, there's something special that could be there. And I think people are overlooking Michigan. And Michigan lost a lot of players. It's still hard to go to Michigan and win, though. They're physical. They're fast. They're going to replace a lot of players. But you better not overlook Michigan. It is still a really good football team.
Yeah, it's really hard to win in Michigan, but it won't be tomorrow. I think Texas does what they need to do and handles business early and often. I think Michigan lost way too many players. And at the end of the day, Michigan is the big house, but it ain't the biggest and loudest house that Texas will play in this year. Everybody knows that about Michigan Stadium. It's big, puts more people in the seats, but the stadium goes outwards, and it's not on top of you. It's louder.
Well, where is the loudest place they'll play this season?
Where they go?
Well, they go.
Well, A&M would be loud.
I was hoping you'd say that, but it wasn't that loud Saturday night.
Yeah, no, it'll be loud. Look, you're going to be able to handle all that. I'm not worried about that. And also, Michigan has to figure out who they are offensively. They don't have the identity dialed in yet. And so you're not going to be a team that beats Texas.
Well, they go. Texas will go to Vanderbilt, Arkansas, and A&M.
Arkansas will be loud, and you know A&M's going to rock. So, I mean, it'll be the second loudest place you maybe play, second or third, depending on if Arkansas is good or not.
One more game before you guys go, and that's the game at Bank of America Stadium. You know how to get to that place, Roman. NC State taking on Tennessee.
Nico Iamaleava was extremely impressive last week. I think because of that, he gives them the edge. I don't think people give enough credit. I mean, we love Josh Heupel's offense, but inserting this quarterback makes a huge difference in everything that they do because now everything's up, and it's all catch-and-run situations. He never hangs his he didn't hang his wide receivers out to dry. They easily catch the ball, and not only do they catch it, but they also are able to run with it and get run after catch, and that's very, very hard to defend if I'm a defensive secondary.
Completely different offense with Nico, but I'm also excited about the physical matchup. I want to see what this offensive line for Tennessee that still has to figure a few things out. Can they control the running game and flip it to the other side? How's the front seven going to do? I'm really excited to watch this front seven, James Pierce Jr. and Tennessee, get after the quarterback because NC State is a physical football team. If they do one thing well, it is that they're physical and they're fundamentally sound. So I'm really excited to see what happens in the trenches in this one because if they can match NC State, I think the firepower of Nico and these receivers, I think it'll be too much, but they got to match the physicality.
And the last part, Paul, is the same highlight we just looked at. Tennessee's replacing everybody in their secondary from last year. They don't have anybody back. Chattanooga was not a threat to them. Can NC State threaten them? Because the easiest way to lose a game is over the top. If you can't stop anybody through the air over the top of your defense, you will lose games. And so Tennessee, we'll see how they go versus that as well, because that's yet to be determined.
Guys, thanks. Always fantastic to start.
Thanks for being so nice, Paul.
Thanks, P-Town.
You got nothing? Nothing this week.
See you guys next week.
That's why you got a golf clap today and not a real roar, all right?
I just want to compliment you ladies and men for standing out there in the sun. And you.